Hey, so Kevin, thanks again for taking the time for us this afternoon. If you don't mind, I'd like to run through some quick introductions, and then I can talk to you a little bit about Time Warner Cable and what makes us different in the marketplace. My name is Chris Callow. Again, I manage the Carolina markets, and up through my group is, of course, the field sales executives, but also the engineering and design guys. So sales operations, sales support, and our commercial services and construction teams, the tech ops guys, so the team that physically builds the network, and then the group that goes on site to install the service. Sitting next to me is John Maxwell. He is a member of our account executive team. His role has changed quite a bit over the last year or two. He's much more market development focused, and his primary job today is to find dark spots in the map. So areas where we know that there's a lot of opportunity, where we don't necessarily have a lot of network, and expand the metro fiber footprint into those areas. Time Warner Cable is committed to spending just over $277 million in proactive network expansion this year, and it's John's job to spend it where we get the largest return and the best value from long-term partnerships like yours. Max Davis over here is a member of our core engineering and design team. So his function pre-sale is to ensure that what we talk about today will interface with your CPE. So routers, firewalls, servers, any electronics that you have on site, and improve efficiencies and application performance. Post-sale and implementation, Max works with the project management and ops teams to make sure that the service is delivered and provisioned correctly and on time. So Kevin, as the IT director, I'm sure you wear a lot of hats. Can you talk to me a little bit about what your primary function is? Are you a LAN guy? Are you a WAN guy? Are you a little of both?
Currently manage both.
Okay, great. So other than the fact that you may have Time Warner Cable at home, cable TV, the coax platform we all know and love, do you know much else about Time Warner?
Not much.
Okay. All right, well, essentially on the commercial services side, Time Warner is an access provider, right? So we provide access to the public internet, we provide access to the public switch telephone network, we provide access to a private IP network. So we're a layer 2 provider, which means we control how packets flow from end to end. And unlike the telcos, who are typically layer 3 providers, I have much more control over how packets are routed across my network. As an example, I can play both a primary and a redundant role. In fact, I can do both. Because I'm a layer 2 and I own the construction team, I can bring in 2 circuits and provide both access and route diversity. For example, I can bring in one circuit on the west side of the building and route it north to Raleigh, from Charlotte to Raleigh and up to Ashburn, Virginia, and out to the public internet. I can bring in another circuit on the east side of the building and route it from Charlotte to Columbia, south to Atlanta, and out to the public internet. So just a couple advantages of being a layer 2 provider, an Ethernet provider versus a layer 3 provider. I own roughly 35,000 miles of metro fiber in North and South Carolina. We've recently acquired a company called DukeNet that you might be familiar with, where we picked up another 16,000 route miles in North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. So the legacy TWC network runs from New York City to Charlotte, and then it hops on the 95 corridor and runs south down the coast. The strategic acquisition of DukeNet gives us a 100 gig core network down the I-85 corridor, where I pick up Greenville, Spartanburg, and down to Atlanta. The TWC network runs the southern portion of Alabama, so just north of the Panhandle. And with the DukeNet acquisition, I pick up Birmingham, Huntsville, Nashville, and Knoxville, Tennessee. So you following me so far? Are you with me? Okay, great. Because I own the metro network and the transport network, both the metro network and the transport network, it gives me a few competitive advantages in the marketplace, right? Number one, it allows me to more closely monitor and control the quality of the service that's provisioned to you. And number two, at least theoretically, it gives me a competitive advantage from a pricing standpoint. I don't need to type 2 a whole lot of service, so I don't pay access fees or last mile costs to AT&T like a Windstream or an Earthlink or many of the other competitive carriers. Again, I'm very much construction based, so my only cost really to take on a new customer is construction. So how much does it physically cost me to gain access to your site? So that's the good news. The bad news is, again, I'm very much construction based, which means you have to be on or near my network for me to be a good fit for you, frankly. Fortunately, geographically, our footprints overlap quite nicely. We typically build a 1 gig access facility, so 1,000 meg, over which I can layer any of our dedicated or private IP services. Whereas our layer 3 competitors, again, the Windstreams, the Earthlinks, the telcos of the world, they typically limit the access facility and aggregate bandwidth by bonding TDM services like T1s and then spinning it as a dynamic service or a dynamic allocation of bandwidth. So I'm a layer 2 provider. Again, I own the bandwidth. So I can carve out VLANs and allocate as much or as little bandwidth for each application you require, literally up to 10 gig. I can go from 3 meg to 1,000 meg without even rolling a truck. Again, because I'm Ethernet, they're TDM. Really what this means to you is that you're not tied to traditional telco bandwidth increments. If you need 10 meg, I give you 10. If you need 100, I can give you 100. The telcos can bond T1s, and they can give you 9 or they can give you 10 and a half. If you need 100, they can bond DS3s, and they can give you 90 or they can give you 155. Again, TDM or Ethernet, extremely scalable, easy to deploy. You pay for what you need. TDM, costly, unavailable on demand, and frankly inconvenient. So Time Warner Cable Business Class, right? We're a $2.5 billion part of a $25 billion company. We have 2,500 employees of the 52,000 whole. So it affords us the ability to leverage the financials of the Fortune 100 with the nimbleness of a small company. Regionally, we're housed in 8 serving markets. So within each of those serving markets in the Carolinas, we have under one roof sales, ops, care, pre and post sale support. Excuse me, it makes it very easy to get things done when we have to. Once you become a customer, you're assigned a local account manager whose primary role and responsibility is moves, adds, changes, trouble tickets, escalations. So whereas John Maxwell is a field sales guy, he's out in the field drumming up new opportunity, your local account manager is at their desk service and supporting the customer base. Is there any other questions or anything else I can answer for you about Time Warner?
Nope.